had a couple of requests for me to tell people how I do my drafts. I've already discussed it on the forums before and on my blog, but I've never made a video about it, so I thought I'd go ahead and do that. I use Adobe Illustrator, and it doesn't matter specifically which version of Illustrator that you use. Most of the tools that I'm going to be using here are some of the simplest tools that are in the program, and it's actually as simple as drawing something on a piece of paper. That's really what it is. Nothing big about it. So what I'm going to do now for you is start on a new draft. I'm going to move everything over here to the side. And I'm going to get rid of these coat lines. I don't need these anymore. These are ones that I was already working on. I'm just going to make some new ones and show you how I did this from beginning to end. I'm going to kind of do this quickly. I'm not going to go over the specifics on how to make this draft. I'm not going to talk about this specific draft. I'm just going to kind of show you. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to use the measurements from the draft rather than for my friend. Alright, that's the measurements that I need there. I can change around the set of instructions because since I'm not drawing this on a piece of paper, I can do them however I want to and still know that they're going to be precise in their measurement. So what I'm doing here, by the way, is with the line segment tool, I click on a coordinate that I want to have a line made. I don't drag, in other words, I don't make a line like so. I click, brings up the line segment tool options dialog box, and that allows me to set the length and the angle directly. This is very precise in this manner here. 0 means it's going to go to the right. If I were to put 90, it would go upward. If I put 180, it goes left. If I go a 270-degree angle, it goes down. So those are the 4 that I have to really remember a lot. So I have to start by doing this one here first. There we go. And then from here to here, I'm going to make that line like I should have in the beginning. Whenever I'm doing things in fractions, I have to think in decimals. So if it's a quarter of an inch, it's 0.25. If it's an eighth of an inch, it's 0.125. If it's 3/8 of an inch, it's 0.375. I didn't completely memorize all of these, of course. There are charts online. All you have to do is type in fact, if you go to Google and type in 0.375, it'll tell you what it is going to be in a fraction, or vice versa. Very, very helpful little tool there. Let's see. Making this step for the armhole, arm side. There we are. 18 for me is 1/4 half breast plus 2 inches. I love those kind of measurements. 1/4 half breast. Why don't they just say 1/8 breast? Okay, so in other words, 36 divided by 2 divided by 4 plus 2 inches, that is 6.5. Go in that direction here. Alright. One inch up from that is the half scale, plus, so that's 9.25 in an upward direction. Then I connect that up. Then I get this length, and that is 5.8234. What this is down here, this is the document info palette dialog. It's not dialog, I'm sorry. It's just the document info palette. And you go to get that up, you go to Window and Document Info. And this shows you all of the information about the object. If you click on this here, Objects, it tells you how long a line segment is. So it helps out if you have a line segment that's on a crooked angle here, or if it's curved. Very helpful. So I'm going to type that in there. 5.8234 minus 1/4 inch for the difference between the back and front seam, so I can get the fullness in the back there later on. Here we are. I'm going to go from here to here. I'm going to get this by half, so I get the length here divided by 2. Same angle that it was on before. It automatically puts it in there for me. And there we go. And the reason why I did that is because here I'm going to make a 1/2 of an inch at minus 270 degrees of the last one. There you go. That's the hollowness of the arm in the front there. 3.25 for dropping down there. 5 inches out from there. Alright, so here. So I gotta get 26 from here, that's right. I forgot to make this line here. Go from here, 1 inch out back, and I'm going to make a little stub so that way I can see what's going on there. And I'm going to measure from here to here. And I'm going to take that same line segment here, but minus 3/4 of an inch, and that's the bottom area. And I get that same area, 0.1, where's it? 88. That's right. Divided by 3, and that is that area there. That's the underseam. Okay, so I'm at a point where I have to show you what I'm going to do now, because this was a doozy to try to figure out where to find out the back tack area for the side skirt using this. So I don't have a drafting measurement tool. In other words, I don't have a piece of paper and a ruler to sweep, because the actual instruction says using 11 as a pivot, which happens to be right here, sweep from B to C. There is no sweep tool in Illustrator, so I had to kind of break this down logically and figure out what they were talking about. I measured the distance between 11 to B, which is here. And then I apply that amount on a 90-degree angle, or 270 degree in this case. And then I get my circle tool. Because what's happening when you're sweeping? If you're sweeping properly, what happens is you're making a circle. So I'm just going to make the circle and make it exactly in line with B, And wherever C is going to be, we don't know yet. It's going to be some area here. So I'm going to go ahead and make a mark here and a mark here. Using my pen tool, I'm adding line path segments, anchors, and I'm going to get rid of the rest of the line. And there you go. There's the sweep that we needed. How do I figure out where line C is? Because it doesn't exactly say. On the draft, it basically, you draw the segment for for the side piece, and wherever it intersects, that's where C is. It's kind of arbitrary, which is why they use a letter instead of a number. So I'm going to do the same thing that they're doing, except I'm going to do it here. I've tried to figure out some kind of mathematical precision plot point area that this should be, but honestly, it's very arbitrary. In fact, depending on the way that you make the line segment, it can change. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it there, and that's going to be point C right there. Okay. So I'll go back to my coat guides, and I'm going to lock the coat lines thing. Don't need to have that 9 from there. And then this is going to be 1 inch out. How do I know that? Because I have it memorized. I have all of my construction lines here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this side piece because I'm going to copy paste the rest of these lines. This is where I really get to say that I cheat. Yeah, I know. This is no other way to describe it. This is cheating. I'm going to get these different coat segment line areas here and just drag them into place. Some of them are going to fit, some of them are not, because the previous draft that I made was for my friend. However, what I do is I just move these lines into place. That's right. This is the cheating part. I get to cheat, cheat, cheat. Yes, I am cheating. And, or as Rod Miller in Disneyland would say, it's cheap, but it works. And I can change it around later if I want to. Beautiful, isn't it? I can just move lines around like that. And funny, one of my favorite instructions that they love to quote in MTOC is about. It's about 1 inch in. In other words, they don't know themselves. They just kind of go in with it. So it wasn't very mathematically precise. Got to leave that to the Germans. They're more into mathematical science precision stuff. Moving my lines. Nudge, nudge, nudge. Actually, I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. I'm going to grab all of these and bring them in, plop them into place, because they were in the right area, the way they should be. Here we are. And then I get my... now here's something else that I went ahead and altered off of the original thing, is the bottom of the arm side down here, where that intersects. That's where that line for the dart is. So I go ahead and make those 2 darts as like a guide, and then bring the dart in here, and that gives me the perfect placement for the dart. And there we go. We have a perfect draft. Actually looks slightly different than the draft that's in the MTOC, which means that either I made a mistake or they made a mistake. I'll let you decide who did the mistake, because everything here is precisioned and mathematically coordinated according to the instructions that they gave. That's about it. Looks like I could play with things a little bit more here. I can play with it all I want to. So that's pretty much how I make this. Finish it in 30 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and try to cut some of this down. But thank you very much for watching, and hopefully this will give you a pretty good demonstration example of how to make a draft in Illustrator. I'll be going over the specifics of different drafts in the future. Thank you.